A lot of pioneers are still struggling to get their KYC done while some are yet to complete theirs. But as explained in the recently released Pi Network white paper that those who haven't done their KYC will have their account deleted, hence not transferred to mainnet, and all their hand-earned mint Pi Network coin will be burned. This won't really be good for most pioneers as no one will really want this to befall him. Nevertheless, for any pioneer not to fall into this category, he or she really needs to get their KYC done to enable the core team transfer them to mainnet. If you are yet to get a KYC slot, we have a good news for you. The Pi Network will soon release a massive KYC slot. Hello and welcome back to my channel. Kindly support our channel by pressing the subscribe and notification bell to get updated whenever we post similar videos. Soon the Pi Network is going to be made available for trade, and I know you aware of what that signifies, which is the Pi Network itself will automatically turn into a coin that can be bought, sold and traded for other currencies. This also indicates that the Pi will have its own value and will have a significant competitive edge when it enters the cryptocurrency market. So if you haven't completed your KYC yet, please do it as soon as you can so that the core team will transfer you when mainnet is live. Why is it absolutely necessary to finish the KYC before entering the mainnet? What does the Know Your Customer check help me with or protect me from? Dr. Nicholas Kokalis has shed significant light on the KYC in a recent revelation. The validation team is in charge of determining whether or not an individual is who they claim to be. They will eventually be able to distinguish legitimate records from fake ones. We already have a general understanding of how many early adopters there are. Thus, this will prevent the creation of fraudulent accounts, indeed a great number of them. The Pi Network adheres to a strict policy of assigning a single record to each individual. In this way, KYC ensures the genuineness of the organization's interactions with its customers. We have reason to believe that the Pi core team has never sold any KYC information and does not intend to do anything of the sort in the future. The procedure for verifying a user's identity with KYC is slightly different for each coin. After selecting 100,000 users at random and verifying their identities according to the KYC guidelines, the Pi Network will select another 100,000 users at random and repeat the process. At the moment, Pi Network processes the Know Your Customer KYC certification after having entrusted it to a certifying authority in the UK known as YOTI. If you are one of the 100,000 people chosen, information will be triggered within the app in the form of a pop-up message and profile. In addition, the time limit for authenticating yourself is only 24 hours. After that, you won't have the chance to do it again, but there is absolutely no need for alarm. The Pi core team indicated that the Know Your Customer process will be carried out in the future for all of the users that are still active. The vast majority of users have not yet received instructions for KYC verification. The Pi core team has stated that it will offer every pioneer the chance to get their KYC and account confirmed. Don't be anxious, as you will have accomplished your KYC prior to the launch of mainnet. And if you don't, well, let's just say that's a bad sign. Let me bring to your notice that some pioneers will only lose a quarter of their standard mining rate, which is the rate at which they earned money, which is the coin while they were mining. This will be returned once they have completed the task, which is the KYC verification. The question that needs to be answered in the spirit of mainnet is whether or not Pi currency will be worth anything. When will the Pi cryptocurrency have value, or when will it be worth something? Due to the fact that it has not yet been implemented onto the blockchain, the Pi Network coin is now on hold and has no value, though some pioneers have begun trading it. We have arrived at the KYC stage and a significant number of individuals are prepared for the Pi mainnet. Pi Network has stated that it is neither undertaking an initial coin offering, ICO, or a crowdfunding sale in currencies that can be mined on the confined mainnet, which are currently preserved within the ecosystem. The developers announced that the confined network period will afford pioneers the opportunity to finish KYC verification, make adjustments to the mainnet, and add additional applications. They merely mentioned that the closed network time is consistent with Pi's vision of a utility-based ecosystem and its iterative methodology, but they did not provide a date for when the network will become open. Some cryptocurrency analysts and websites that are based on algorithms have already attempted to anticipate the price of Pi coin, despite the fact that the price of Pi has not yet been set. At the present mining rate of approximately 0.1 Pi per hour, each user would mine approximately 2.4 Pi per day, which would result in a daily addition of 87.1 million Pi coin to the ecosystem as a whole. We can make an educated guess that there are roughly 200 to 300 billion Pi coins currently in circulation, despite the fact that it is difficult to provide an accurate estimate of the supply due to the fact that it is always changing. A preliminary estimate places the daily number of Pi coins being mined at 87.1 million, and this is based on the fact that the mining rate for Pi has increased by a factor of 10 every time the number of users has increased. If we take the average of these two ranges as our starting point, Pi has a supply of 250 trillion, so in order for it to be worth $100, it would need a market cap of $30 billion. Pi accounts lacking KYC will not be allowed to reach the mainnet phase. Your Pi coin may be destroyed if you do not complete your KYC. Keep an eye out for your KYC slot to become a full pioneer before the mainnet launches. Additionally, the Pi Network core team is developing an application for the KYC verification process so as to accommodate more and more people to enable them speed up the process. Pi has approximately 40 million users at the moment. Ethereum has approximately the same amount of unique addresses and a market worth of around $75 billion in May of 2018. Our Pi coin price projection places the token at a more conservative $100, with a market valuation of $25 billion. This is because the price of the Pi network currency could reach 10 cents with a market valuation of $25 billion if selling pressure were to outweigh buying pressure. In this scenario, the Pi network currency would have a market valuation of $25 billion. Let's take a peek at what the coin would look like in 2023, shall we? Building a decentralized network of Bitcoin smart contracts is the goal of the Pi network. This will enable individuals to create apps that can be used within the Pi network. Pi miners will be responsible for acting as validators. When we go back to the year after that, we anticipate that the Pi mainnet will have been published, and as a direct result, any significant selling pressure will have dissipated. This would be a great time to start developing the very first applications based on the Raspberry Pi. Despite the fact that it is highly improbable that the ecosystem would reach its full potential for at least a few years after the release of the mainnet, this will dramatically increase the demand for Pi. Furthermore, the number of users on the network will continue to grow, leading to an increase in supply. If we assume a growth rate of 20% to account for the buzz generated by the mainnet launch and use cases gradually being revealed, the total number of Pi users would be approximately 43.5 million. And there would be a supply of 300 billion tokens in circulation. After a lull of a few months, the historical evolution of altcoins will come back into focus now that Ethereum has been identified as one of the finest cryptocurrencies. Even if you haven't received any warning that it's time to complete your Pi KYC, you can go ahead and download the Pi browser and start the KYC procedure right away. Be sure you enter the right information that corresponds with the information you used to initially sign up for the service. Additionally, ensure that the application is open during the entirety of the process. You won't be waiting long before a validator is assigned to you. If you are unable to move past the KYC stage, I am confident that the Pitcore team is trying to resolve the issue. A redacted version of your identification will be presented to human verifiers. This indicates that they will examine your photograph, and the overall appearance of your identity will be clear to them. Just to make sure we're talking about the same person, verifiers will then establish at that time whether or not your personal identity is of the same kind as you represented in the information structure and whether or not the person pictured in your identification is actually you. There are certain users who have not yet received instructions for KYC verification. If you did not take advantage of the chance to earn certification this time around, there will undoubtedly be another one in the near future. Someone asked the question, what will happen if he did not complete KYC in the Pi network? Which was one of the comments that I received. Pi accounts that do not have KYC will not be able to enter the mainnet phase, which means that your Pi may be destroyed. As I was saying earlier, we just recently made an announcement about this KYC solution, which is now fully operational. There are currently over 4 million members who have completed their Know Your Customer requirements. And that, in essence, is what I believe to be the most significant blockchain migration in the history of Bitcoin out there. Therefore, moving forward, we intend to keep moving through with this KYC migration. Because of this, we need to make room for a significant number of additional users on the mainnet. Consequently, this is one thing that we need to do in order to continue creating the ecosystem during the enclosed period, and that is basically by constructing additional infrastructure that is required and enabling the community to construct its own utilities. This weekend, in fact, we will be participating in 3 different hackathons at universities located in Berkeley, Harvard, and Cornell. We are supporting tracks over there, so it is possible that some of our students will participate in hackathons and other initiatives such to this one to develop Pi apps for utility building. And finally, we are also developing several utilities internally, including on the user side, which refers to the creation of end-user applications that customers can make use of. That's all for now. Kindly support our channel by pressing the subscribe and notification bell. Thank you and see you in our next video.